And Nathan, you guys, we talked about that. You talked about the pain of kind of going through a migration and then being faced with another migration. So when this happened, what did you've obviously made a decision to deploy another platform. So what were kind of the steps involved for you guys? Who were the stakeholders who were involved? Kind of talk about the journey of once you found out the news and you needed to respond to it.
Sure thing. With anything like this, it's kind of back to basics, right? You take a look at your overall go-to-market. You attempt to take a look at what's happening in the marketplace, the consolidation that's happening in the retail sense anyway, and pay attention to how organizations that kind of started as ours did as a value-added integrator, moving into acquiring a carrier 499 ILEC entity, and then determining what you need to do over there. We've always been looking for a scenario where you can kind of be your own brand and attempt to avoid vendor lock-in. And unfortunately, I've experienced a fairly significant amount of this in my past. John, from a previous life, we worked together and went to market with a hosting solution that we ultimately kind of got changed, and a rug was pulled out from underneath us. So this isn't, unfortunately, this isn't new to our organization, trying to figure out what's going on. So I think having a brand and having a solution that is your own thing, and not have to look to business process outsource development to acquire some level of forking of an asterisk or core router or something of that sort to make your own. And we've talked about going to that level of a baseline, back to the drawing board that far. So we immediately went to determine what's occurring in the marketplace, figure out what we need to do to either augment the existing, to Andrew's points, right? We have a fantastic class 5, class 4 architecture with lots of connections and peering that's available for things like, public-based facilities. You see connectivity for that, Teams and Zoom, to connect and take advantage of lower cost PSTN away from where retail is kind of going. So we took a big step out and said, how do we make our next approach our own, and pay attention to entities that are like-minded in our pursuit to have our own brand. And not just that, but looking at it from what do our wholesalers on the Akabis side experience as well, where they are 100% in a scenario where they're locked in with us. Can we provide a way to allow them to go to market with their own brand, right? Let them be their own thing and get away from having another type of entity that you're kind of consuming. So rather than go into a scenario where we're just another sticker, on a NASCAR, we very much wanted our own thing. So that was one of the number one things. From there, feature parity was a very easy thing, with stripping of UC communications from the Metaswitch architecture that we currently hold was an easy one, right? Pretty much everybody that's in the marketplace now is doing some sort of UC something. So that was an easy one. Extensibility was also top of mind. How open are the APIs? How able are we capable to integrate things like professional services automation, rating engines, things of that sort, let alone EMRs, ERPs, CRMs, things like that, that allow you to dip into data and take a look at that empirical collection of data you as an entity have, and then look to assist other organizations that unfortunately in the space are kind of falling upstairs if you're anywhere close to the position that we are in, right? Where we're having to kind of re-architect the way that we go to business, go to market. And then from there, governance, regulatory, which we'll get into, I'm sure, later on, was also very much so top of mind for us. So we pulled the brakes really, really hard and kind of went into a bit of an incubator, and then went to bid with several entities and to determine exactly where we were going to go and where we were going to land for both ourselves as well as our wholesalers.